Good morning, Boker Tov, and happy Chanukah. Today is the first day of Chanukah. Last night we lit the first candle. And the question that's asked is, we all celebrate Chanukah because it was a miracle. A little cruse of oil that only had enough to burn for one day, burned for 8 days. But the question is, why do we celebrate the first day of Chanukah? The miracle only began on day number 2, when the little cruse of oil exceeded its natural capability and burnt for an additional 7 days. But the first day was purely natural, ordinary. They did have a cruse of oil for one day. So what exactly are we celebrating today on day number 1? And one of the many answers is very powerful. And that is that as Jews, we don't just celebrate the supernatural, but we realize that even the natural is miraculous, no less than the supernatural. When we look at the state of the Jewish people in the year 2022, and we ask ourselves, how is it that we're the only nation from all the ancient nations that has still survived till today? When you learn the Torah and you learn about the Canaanites and the Hittites, imagine if you met someone today and said, I'm a Hittite from 4,000 years ago. It would be astonishing. It would be bewildering. Wow, you're still here from the original Hittites, or the original Canaanites, or the original Egyptians, and the original Pharaohs, or the original Greeks. There are no Greeks today of the Syrian Greek armies. There are no Romans, there are no Babylonians, but there are Jews in every single corner of the world, not just in one location, not just in Israel, but in every place in the world you find Jews. That is a miracle. Yes, every Jew is a living miracle. There is no explanation except that there's a divine hand in Jewish history and Jewish destiny. And that's what we're celebrating today. We're recognizing the miraculous within the natural. Every one of our lives is a miracle. And therefore we celebrate the first day of Chanukah. You know, in 1939, Kristallnacht, the Nazis destroyed synagogues, businesses, homes, beat Jews, murder Jews, send them to the concentration camps. And one of the biggest synagogues in Germany was in Nuremberg. It was called Congregation Adat Yisrael, which means the community of Israel. Big, beautiful synagogue, and they burnt it to the ground. And just recently, a grandson of a World War II veteran, an American World War II veteran, discovered pictures that his grandfather had taken from Nazi officers after the victory of World War II, which shows in black and white the pictures, the photographs that the Nazis took to document the atrocities of Kristallnacht. And there in these pictures you see them looting and burning and destroying the Adas Israel congregation of Nuremberg. Well, just 2 weeks ago, the Chabad rabbi in Nuremberg, Germany, received a package. His name is Rabbi Eliezer Chitrick. And he opened the package, and in it was a golden menorah. And with it came a letter. And the letter said, Dear Rabbi Chitrick, please accept this menorah as I return it to its rightful place, the Jewish community of Nuremberg. And he goes on to tell the story that his uncle was a 10-year-old boy on the night of Kristallnacht. And when the synagogue Adas Israel was being destroyed, the Nazi youth were celebrating. And his 10-year-old uncle at the time went in during the looting and grabbed this silver candelabra menorah. And a year later, when his father discovered it, his father slapped him and said, why did you take this? Go return it to the synagogue. But unfortunately, the synagogue was no longer there. It was burned to the ground. And the Jews of Nuremberg were no longer there because the war had broken out. They were all either killed or fled. And so it remained in the family with his uncle. And now, 84 years later, this German was on a trip to Switzerland, and he met a Jewish family by the name of Weiss. And they were actually survivors from the town of Nuremberg. And they told him about the atrocities that occurred in 1939. And so he remembered this golden menorah from his uncle. And he said, please accept this with apologies, with remorse, with a plea for forgiveness for what we have done to the Jewish people. And I'm returning it to you as a representative of the Jewish community. Last night, for the first time in 84 years, Rabbi Chitrick lit this very special golden menorah that was laying in German hands for 84 years, taking from the Adas Israel congregation on the night of Kristallnacht. Wow. The Nazis are no longer here. The Third Reich is no longer here. But this Jewish nation continues to light the menorah, whether it is in Israel, the United States, Australia, around the globe, and yes, even in Nuremberg, Germany, the lights of the menorah are burning bright once again. That's what we celebrate today, the miracle of the existence of the Jewish people. Have a wonderful, joyous, happy Chanukah.